Welcome to PyPod Chronicles, a series that brings our tech blog to life in a whole new way. Covering an array of topics surrounding Python and tech, from programming tips, best practices, and so much more. Let's get immersed in Python with the Nerd Nook on the go. If you've been keeping up with our blog, then you'll know me as Rusty Raccoon. But if you're new here, let me introduce myself. I'm Josh, and I'm your host of PyPod Chronicles. Here we are in episode 7, giving this a title of PyGame. Level up your Python skills with a splash of fun. I'm stoked to have you all here. What is this episode going to be about? Well, it's going to be about a module called PyGame with Python. And we can use this module to build 2D games, but if you're not here for games, don't worry, because PyGame is an instrumental key tool in learning how Python works and building your foundational skills in Python. Let's jump in. Python is a versatile programming language, and it's become the go-to choice for beginners and experienced developers. It's renowned for its simplicity and its readability, which makes it an ideal choice for those stepping into the world of coding for the first time. And that's what I'm really good at, is I'm good at breaking complex tech jargon down for you guys so it's easier to understand, especially as beginners. But in reality, learning the fundamentals of any language can be a bit dry. Whether it's English or Python, doesn't matter. The fundamentals can be a bit dry. That's where PyGame swoops in and saves the day. We are going to dive into this episode of why I believe PyGame is a great tool for you guys as beginners to strengthen your Python foundation skills while having a blast. And this is a library I highly recommend to all my students and anyone looking to grow their understanding of these key aspects in the fundamentals of Python. One of the most significant advantages of PyGame is its ability to provide a visual representation of your code. Instead of just staring at lines and hoping you know what it means, PyGame allows you to see your code come alive through these visuals, vibrant colors, and other captivating animations that you want to add. This makes PyGame really good for all you visual learners out there. I myself am a visual learner, so making games or making apps, this helps the way I learn. And by using PyGame, you can create interactive graphical applications or games. This hands-on approach not only enhances your understanding of the programming concepts you're learning along the way, but it also instills a sense of excitement and accomplishment as you grow through your journey in coding. It's tough to go through actual code examples here on the podcast, but the way I set up any PyGame is I start with my imports, so importing PyGame. At the top of my code with any PyGame, I put my game settings. So here's where I create my game screen, giving it a width and height. I create the name of my game, and I also create a background if I need one. This could be a color, or I could load in a picture as well. At the very end of your code, this is where we keep our game loop. Every game has a game loop. Not just in PyGame, but PlayStation or Xbox. Every game in general has a main game loop. And this loop is constantly running and updating your screen along the way. This is where we also check for any events in the game. Like, is the user pressing a button or has the user quit the game? So in that order, we import PyGame, our game settings, creating the game screen, and then our game loop. The first event we always want to listen for is quit, to see if the user has quit the game. That's important. PyGame takes care of all the complicated underlying logic, allowing us to focus on the fun stuff. I mean, come on, who doesn't love games? From Super Smash Bros. Melee to Red Dead Redemption. These are the games that I grew up with and I loved playing when I was a bit younger. PyGame provides an excellent entry point for beginners to delve into the exciting realm of game development. And by you creating these simple little games, you're not only going to have a blast, but you're also going to master essential programming concepts along the way. This is going to strengthen your foundational skills, and it's going to make everything that we learn in the future a lot easier. Creating a game like ping pong, for example, using PyGame, is perfect. That's all you need to start with. You start by setting up your game window and defining the game's logic, like the ball movement or the paddle controls. What about collision detection? The process of building a game from scratch helps you grasp these fundamental concepts like variables, control flow, event handling, and more importantly, object-oriented programming. With PyGame, you can step-by-step enhance your game skills, like ping pong, but you're also going to enhance all your previous skills, like your understanding of those control flows or object-oriented programming. That's where PyGame becomes so great. Another good thing about PyGame is the PyGame community. And they offer various avenues for learning and support. Like there's a ton of online forums, not just Stack Overflow, there's other sites too. And they're dedicated to the PyGame communities. You can check social media platforms and ask questions and seek advice, as well as share your experiences along the way. And if you encounter a stumbling block or you're faced with a challenge, you can rely on the community to provide you insights or code examples to help you along the way. In addition to all these online interactions, the PyGame community members often contribute to all those open source projects, creating libraries or other tools you can use in your games along the way. As you embark on your PyGame journey, you'll find ample tutorials and guides that break down complex concepts into bite-sized chunks. If you're looking for more of this stuff, head over to my blog, check that out. I have PyGame courses as well, breaking down this tech jargon to something that's easy to understand and grasp. You can follow step-by-step instructions and build various games like platformer games, shooter games, puzzle games. Additionally, PyGame community actively shares their knowledge through blog posts or GitHub repos, ensuring that you, the learner, always has a wealth of information at your fingertips. Let me wrap up this episode. Now, in reality, nobody is going to give you a job making games in PyGame, or at least it's not very likely. But the real gem of PyGame, everyone, is you will be able to use everything you've learned in the fundamentals, the foundation of Python throughout your journey so far. And it's going to help you build a strong foundation while grasping the fundamentals of this language. Remember, learning doesn't have to be all seriousness. With PyGame, you can inject humor and creativity into your coding journey, transforming it into an exciting, enjoyable experience. This is why I recommend PyGame to all of my students. It doesn't matter if you're a beginner or advanced. PyGame helps you dive deeper into object-oriented programming and really hone in the skills you're learning. If you don't use the skills you're learning in the fundamentals of Python, they're going to fall apart as you get into more advanced things like, data analysis or working with Flask or Django or AI and machine learning. You need to have key understanding of the fundamentals of Python, and that is where PyGame comes in. That's all for now, guys. Thank you for tuning in for this episode of PyPod Chronicles. And be sure to check out my blog if you're looking for more. The link is in the description. Or head over to Substack and check out the Nerd Nook. Well, until next time, I'll see you guys in the next episode.